We are covering Identity Federation and Single Sign-On for the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam. The core concept here is allowing users to access AWS resources using credentials from an external identity provider, like your company's Active Directory. This avoids creating and managing separate IAM users for everyone. The primary service for this is AWS IAM Identity Center, which was formerly known as AWS Single Sign-On. For the exam, you must know that IAM Identity Center is the preferred method for managing workforce access to multiple AWS accounts and applications. An exam question might describe a large company with hundreds of employees and multiple AWS accounts within an AWS organization. If the company wants to use their existing corporate directory to grant these employees access to the correct AWS accounts with specific permissions, IAM Identity Center is the answer. It centralizes access management, simplifying administration and improving security. This process is enabled by a protocol called SAML 2.0, which is an open standard for exchanging authentication and authorization data between an identity provider and a service provider, which in this case is AWS. While IAM Identity Center uses SAML, the exam might try to trick you by presenting a scenario where you configure SAML Federation manually with IAM roles. This is a valid but more granular approach, often used for specific applications or when Identity Center isn't suitable. The biggest point of confusion tested on the exam is the difference between IAM Identity Center and Amazon Cognito. They solve two very different problems. IAM Identity Center is for your internal workforce, employees, contractors, accessing AWS accounts and business applications. Amazon Cognito, on the other hand, is for the users of your web and mobile applications. Think of it as customer identity and access management. A classic exam scenario will describe a new mobile game that needs to support sign-in with Facebook, Google, or a simple email and password. The service to manage these millions of potential users and provide them secure access to back-end AWS resources is Amazon Cognito. Cognito provides user pools to manage user directories and identity pools to grant temporary AWS credentials. So, the common exam trap is a question that asks you to choose the right identity service. Always ask yourself, who is the user? If it's an internal employee accessing the AWS console or resources, the answer is likely IAM Identity Center. If it's an external customer signing into an application you built, the answer is always Cognito. For a mental shortcut, remember this phrase: use the center for your company's center of operations. And use Cognito so your customers can go into your app. This helps separate the internal workforce use case from the external customer use case, which is the key distinction you need to master for the exam. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.